Garrett Mitchell, better known to millions as Cletus McFarland, was out to dinner recently when a fan walked up to him and called him something he had never been called before. Not a YouTuber. Not an influencer. A NASCAR driver. And his reaction? "I've been called a YouTuber forever." I was like, "Are we?" That's so much better. That single moment tells you everything you need to know about where things stand in NASCAR right now. Because in just 1 week, the sport saw a YouTube star land a seat with a legendary team, a Cup Series driver get benched at his own home track by a sudden medical diagnosis, and a championship contender head into Phoenix missing 2 of his most important pit crew members. 3 stories. 1 week. And each one of them says something. Let's start with the story that has the entire racing internet talking. Garrett Mitchell, who built his name as Cletus McFarland on YouTube starting back in 2009, has officially signed a deal to race in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series with Richard Childress Racing. He will drive the number 33 Chevrolet, sponsored by Tommy's Express Car Wash, in a 3-race part-time deal for 2026. And here is the detail that makes this story even more interesting. RCR reached out to him first. Mitchell did not knock on NASCAR's door. NASCAR came to him. The team contacted him directly and told him they wanted to help develop him as a driver and give him a legitimate opportunity to grow in the sport. His response, by his own admission, was essentially, "Hell yeah, brother." That's not just a fun quote, it reflects something real about how NASCAR is thinking right now about audience growth, new fans, and what kinds of personalities can bring them in. So who exactly is Cletus McFarland for anyone not already in that world? His YouTube channel has over 4.65 million subscribers and more than 1,700 videos, built entirely around drag racing, extreme car builds, and high-octane automotive content. He is not a casual hobbyist. He has been racing and wrenching for years, and his fanbase is deeply connected to car culture. The Tommy's Express Car Wash sponsorship that comes with his RCR deal is part of a 2-year contract, which means this is not a one-off publicity stunt. This has real commercial structure behind it. But his path into NASCAR did not begin with this deal. Mitchell has been building his racing resume methodically. In 2025, he made 4 ARCA starts, beginning with the season opener at Daytona, where he crashed 17 laps in, then recovering to finish 10th at Talladega, 9th at Charlotte, and 17th at Bristol. In 2026, he made his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut at Daytona International Speedway, driving the number 4 Chevrolet for Nice Motorsports. He was running inside the top 10 early in the race before getting caught up in a crash on lap 6, finishing 37th. Then came Rockingham. Mitchell ran both the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race and the ARCA Menard Series East event on the same day. He finished 32nd in the main race, 6 laps down, and caused the 7th caution flag of the day when his car broke loose in turn 3 on lap 206 and slid back into traffic. But there were also moments that showed his raw instincts behind the wheel. On lap 4, he made a remarkable save after going sideways 3 wide entering turn 1, and on lap 49, he barely avoided a spinning car by diving to the apron with inches to spare. He also finished 4th in the ARCA East race that same day, completing 369 of 375 scheduled laps. That is a full day of racing at a high level, and it tells you this is not someone just showing up for the cameras. His teammate at Nice Motorsports for the Daytona truck race was Travis Pastrana, the X Games and Rallycross standout. Pastrana, who raced against Mitchell in several made-for-YouTube events, had this to say: "Cletus always downplays his driving skills, but he's a wheel man. He can wheel anything." Now here is where the story takes a deeply personal turn. One of the most significant relationships in Mitchell's path to NASCAR was with Greg Biffle, a NASCAR Hall of Fame nominee, one of NASCAR's top 75 drivers, and a man who raced at the top level for 18 years. The two became close friends after working together during the Hurricane Helene relief efforts in 2024 in North Carolina, where Biffle flew helicopter supply runs into devastated communities. That friendship grew quickly through their shared love of motorsports, and Biffle was actually scheduled to race ARCA alongside Mitchell at Daytona before his death. On December 18, 2025, Greg Biffle was killed when his plane crashed in Statesville, North Carolina. He was 55 years old. Mitchell delivered a eulogy at his memorial service in January at the Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte. At Daytona, Mitchell and Pastrana carried Be like Biff. On their truck beds, with Biffle's number 16 topped by a halo. Mitchell even cut Pastrana's shirt sleeves off during a media event as a tribute to Biffle. I wouldn't be here without Biff, Mitchell said. We're representing. I never really talked to him about trucks, unfortunately. This would have been so cool. He would have been so stoked that we're doing this. He was actually going to race with us. He was going to race ARCA with me here this weekend. I imagine he would have found a truck. It would have been sick. So when Mitchell lines up in the number 33 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing, he carries more than a sponsorship deal and a YouTube following. He carries the weight of a friendship, a mentor, and a moment that cannot be repeated. Now to a story that hits differently, because this one is about a driver's health, a team's integrity, and a 26-year-old getting the kind of phone call that can define a career. Alex Bowman, the 32-year-old driver of the No. 48 Ally Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports, will not compete in the March 8 NASCAR Cup Series event at Phoenix Raceway. During last weekend's road course race at Circuit of the Americas, Bowman began experiencing symptoms mid-race and exited the car on lap 71. Relief driver Myatt Snyder finished the race in his place. Following 2 days of medical evaluation, Bowman was officially diagnosed with vertigo, a condition unrelated to the concussion symptoms that forced him to miss time in previous seasons. The team even had Bowman drive laps in a street car at the 1010s Motor Club road course in Concord, North Carolina, to gauge how he felt behind the wheel after treatment. The decision was ultimately clear. He would not race at Phoenix. Jeff Andrews, president of Hendrick Motorsports, made the team's position plain. Alex has worked very hard over the last several days. We're encouraged by the progress he's making, but we have to prioritize his health above all else. It's obviously frustrating for him because he's a competitor and wants to be in the race car, especially at his home track. We'll continue to support Alex and look forward to his return as soon as he's medically cleared. The home track part matters. Bowman is from Tucson, Arizona. Phoenix Raceway is as close to a hometown race as he gets. Missing it is not just a points problem. It is personal. And the points problem is already serious. Bowman currently sits 36th in the Cup Series standings, last among full-time chartered drivers, after finishes of 40th, 23rd, and 36th to open the 2026 season. This is also the third time in 5 seasons he has been sidelined. A concussion in 2022 cost him 5 races, a back injury in 2023 cost him 3 more, and now this. Hendrick Motorsports will request a medical waiver from NASCAR to keep Bowman eligible for the 2026 Cup Series Championship despite missing Phoenix. But with NASCAR's points-driven format, the math gets harder every week he is not in the car. Filling the seat is Anthony Alfredo, a 26-year-old with 43 Cup Series starts and 210 total NASCAR National Series starts on his resume. Alfredo is not a stranger to the number 48 garage. He serves as the simulator driver for both Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet, logging more laps in the sim than almost anyone else associated with the organization. He has specifically done extensive Phoenix preparation work for championship weekend in past seasons. Crew chief Blake Harris put it plainly. He's done lots of prep work for Phoenix in general, especially going years back for the Phoenix championship race, so feel really good about that and its correlation, and he's as prepared as he could be for this place, I think, as anybody could. Alfredo's mindset walking into this situation was notably measured. It's just weird, right? I don't want to see anyone in the position Alex is in, so it's hard for me to be excited. But it is, of course, a huge opportunity for me to go out there and do a good job. It's not an audition. It's more about filling in and doing a good job for this team. The third story involves a dangerous moment on track, an automatic penalty written directly into NASCAR's rulebook, and a team heading into Phoenix already short-handed. On lap 75 at Circuit of the Americas, during green flag conditions, the right rear wheel came off Ross Chastain's number 1 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet. During the race itself, Chastain was penalized 2 laps for the incident, destroying any chance of a competitive finish. He ended the day 35th. Under NASCAR Rule 8.8.10.4, if a wheel comes off a car after it has left pit road, 2 members of the pit crew receive an automatic 2-race suspension, no appeals process, no gray area. The 2 crew members suspended are rear tire changer Kenneth Pozega and jackman Josh Appleby. Both will miss the next 2 Cup Series races, starting at Phoenix. Trackhouse Racing will fill those spots with crew members from its O'Reilly Auto Parts Series program. Jack Deontay Wilson steps in as Jackman and Ben Weber takes over as rear tire changer. This matters because Phoenix is not a throwaway race. It is a short track where pit strategy is critical, where fractions of a second on pit road translate directly into track position, and where experienced over-the-wall crews earn their value every lap. Sending 2 replacement crew members, regardless of their ability, into that environment after just 1 week of preparation is a genuine liability. And Chastain already needs to recover ground in the standings after that 35th place finish at Coda. On top of that, Phoenix is hosting a stacked weekend. Cup Series, IndyCar, and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series are all running at the track, which means the logistics, the garage pressure, and the competition are all elevated. 3 stories from 1 week in NASCAR. A YouTube star with millions of followers stepping into a legendary team's car, carrying the memory of a friend who never got to see it happen. A Cup Series driver benched at his own home track by a diagnosis nobody saw coming, with a sim driver stepping up to keep the number 48 competitive. And a championship-level team heading into one of the most demanding tracks on the schedule missing 2 of its most experienced pit crew members because a wheel came off under green. NASCAR doesn't slow down for anyone. Not for health, not for grief, not for suspensions. The season moves forward, and every team, every driver, and every crew member has to move with it. If this kind of in-depth NASCAR coverage is what you're looking for every week, subscribe right now, and drop a comment below. Do you think Cletus McFarland has a real future in NASCAR? Let's hear it.